Alright y'all, here we go with another tutorial. So today we're going to be making this piece. I just got an order for it, so I'm going to make it with y'all. I'm going to have a voiceover at a few spots in this video to try to explain things maybe a little better than I did in the original video. But this one is basically to show you guys a different process of spraying than the last video where I used a mist. Today I'm going to be using a different bottle to give kind of a spatter effect. Also, I'm going to show you how to transfer, letters. Here is the stencil for the letters. And I'm also cutting out the noise of the transfer tape that I used because it was very crinkly and it kind of ruined the video. So what I like to do with transfer tape is sometimes if you get a low adhesive, it's much better. But also certain brands, it's going to be a pain in the butt trying to remove it from the letters. So I like to get just a regular adhesive and I'll stick it to the shirt a couple times. The one I'm using here, I had already used it a few times, so it wasn't very adhesive anymore. Now I'm sticking it on right here. Put it over your image here. Okay. Like I said, this one's already used. It's not sticky at all. It might give me some issues. We'll see. I'm just going to show you the best way I like to use to get it off. So instead of peeling the sticker, I'm going to peel the film. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold the film instead of the sticker. And I'm going to just kind of work it on there. You see that? It's like folded. Because see how it's coming off there? If you were to just peel that, you're not going to get it off. All right? Because your tape is not very adhesive right now. You don't want it to be, otherwise you'll never be able to transfer onto the shirt. It's going to be a pain in the butt. So if you do it like this, the letters are just barely stuck on there. It's going to make for a nice, easy transfer. Kind of like rolling a doobie, backwards. Unrolling a doobie. Yeah, because that's a thing. Alright, anyway. So now, I want to make sure that I have the center of this, okay? So you're going to line it up here. So the edges line up. The edge of your first letter lines up with the edge of your last letter, okay? And then you just give yourself a little crease in the tape. Here's the top. We're going to do the top and the bottom. Now the top and the bottom are creased. Okay. See that? See how they have creases? You probably can't, but trust me, they're there. Now you're going to line the crease that you made up with the center of your shirt. Okay. Alright, right there. I like that. Boom. Yes. Alright, you want to make sure that these letters get pressed onto the shirt. Now, just like how we remove the film, we're going to do the same thing with the sticker, with the transfer tape. We're going to kind of fold it here like this. If your letter starts peeling up a little, push it back down, make sure it's on there, and take your time with this part. Don't be in a rush. Take your time, go nice and easy. This part is everything. You want to make sure that it's on there nice. You don't want to pull it up too fast, end up ripping your vinyl. Okay, so I noticed something here. It looks like this kind of folded over. Yeah, it did. Okay. Fix that real quick. All right, now that you have your image on the shirt, definitely go back and press it down. A little slap, bad, but we don't need to talk about that. That never happened. All right. Good to go. So for the sake of time, I cut out most of me placing this stencil. You know, this video was more about transferring letters with transfer tape and, you know, using a different spray method. So if you need to see this part, you can refer to my last video where I showed the placing of a bigger stencil without transfer tape. I'm going to be using this bottle. Obviously for this one, we're going to want to spray. Now I'm not going to pull this trigger fully and just blast it. I'm going to kind of try to work it a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to be working the trigger a little bit to get this spatter effect. As you can see here, I'm going at an angle. So you're definitely going to want to angle it to get that spray effect here. So again, for the sake of time, I just cut out me running around back and forth on the shirt. I didn't cut out any steps here. You know, you're seeing all the steps of the spraying. Here I'm patting it dry with a paper towel instead of the rag. I found that this works a lot better and soaks up a lot easier. I just think it's a better method, but use what works best for you. Pat it dry. Okay. Also, peeling this was a disaster. It was a brand new piece of vinyl. It was very sticky. And I don't know if you noticed, but there was a crease in it, which made for a really crappy peel. So just take your time with this part. If you run into the same problem, you know, there's no need to rush. Just do whatever you have to do to get it off there. Because if you do end up touching any part of the wet bleach to your negative space, it will ruin it. And after I peeled it, I did let the shirt dry for a few before I did this next step because I didn't want to risk having the wet part of the shirt touch the negative space. All right, you give it a pinch, and you just twist. 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 Now make sure the rest of it, well, yeah, sometimes you gotta do it by hand here. Don't want the tag in the way. Okay, now I can see my image here. I don't want to spray that. So I kind of got in the way here of the camera. So I put on a glove so I didn't spray my hand because I had to cover up the negative space where the stencil was, since I had to peel the stencil in order to twist this shirt. Get your cardboard in between it so you don't get any bleed through while it dries. Now this piece, I have drips that I like to put on to this shirt. I just kind of pull the trigger just a little bit to where it just drops out. We're not spraying here. We're just letting the drops fall onto the shirt. So I like to use tweezers when peeling up the letters. You want to take your time here, but use whatever method works best for you. Thank you guys for watching. If there's anything else that you want me to do a video on, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try to do that for you. I appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you very much. Love y'all.